What's happening, Facebook people? Welcome. Good evening. Vail Johnson here for Basically Incorrect. And here we go. We're starting off. We're going to do some stuff. We're going to send in some comments, and I'll answer them as best I can. But I had a thought today while I was looking at some videos on Facebook. And maybe I should never do that because it was just kind of depressing. And the reason I say that is I'm looking for, I'd love to get some new ideas, hear some original thought about music, and not just about bass, but just music in general. And man, I see some of these videos that have, 800,000 views, 1 million plus views or whatever. And somebody's trying to tell you how to play slap bass, for example. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, wow, I really don't think this is helpful at all. And it's really lame. And so I got a little depressed. Got a little sad today. And so I came up with something that made me feel a little better. I've been doing this solo show that's called Around the World in 40 Years. And basically I'm doing a solo thing, me, a looper, bass, and singing, and that's it. No tracks, no nothing. I create everything. And, a la Ed Sheeran in that way, kind of like a male version of Ed Sheeran. And we, that one's going to hurt me later. I know. So I got to try. I think Ed Sheeran's great. He inspired me to do the looper thing. I think he's fantastic at it. I really do. It's fantastic. So but I had some ideas, and I thought, I wanted to do something different. And I'll do that for you a little bit later in this video. Worked up a new arrangement, a whole new vibe to a popular, top 40 pop hit back from the 90s, I guess. But in the meantime, I've had this thought: what is funk? And I was going to say, well, what is funky? But I don't know. I hate the word funky. When people say it's so. When somebody says, "Oh man, that's funky," it makes it sound lame. Maybe it's because the way I say funky, it sounds stupid to me. But what's funky? What's not funky? I don't know. I don't know. I do know. I don't know where to start. There's so much. What I would say is something a lot of people say, but I'm going to try to do some demonstrations that might help you get it a little bit better. But I can tell you what it's not, and it's not everybody playing a lot of notes at the same time. It's definitely not that. And I've been in so many groups coming up through the years, and people are still guilty of it today. Really great players. And they think that, well, funk, and I'm talking about everybody, all the players, drums, bass, guitar, keyboards, for example. And man, it's like, somebody says, "Oh man, okay, make this one funky." All of a sudden, everybody feels like they got to play 16th notes, steady 16th notes on whatever, and it's just so not funk. It's and people say, "Well, it's about the space in between the notes," and it's really true, and that sounds just like a cliche now, but I think it might help if I demonstrate it a little bit, and yeah. So I'm going to do that. I picked out a track that I do in my solo show here. American Woman by the Guess Who. Not by Lenny Kravitz. He didn't write this. Hello, the Guess Who. I've kind of slowed it down. And to me, this is funky. And I will play some bass parts that sound like funk to me. And it's so not just lots of notes, But so I've already pre-recorded the loops, so I don't have to bore you with it. And you're going, but I do like kick drum, hi-hat sounds, snare sounds, stuff like that, and some other stuff. But this is all bass. I did all of this recorded on the bass. So let me look at a couple of comments real quick, and to make sure that someone isn't saying, "Hey, I can't hear you. This is lame." Okay. Eric Bayak, yeah. Hey, Eric, what's happening, man? Michael Johansson. Michael Jansen's personally not funky as well, straight staccato. Funky is a heavy moving groove. You're right about that. John Husenstam, man, that dude helped me with the blues. I tell you what, he helped me figure out the blues back in the what, late 80s, early 90s down there. And that really helped. When I got that gig with Kevmo, John Husenstam helped me figure out how to do a polka shuffle. Man, I nailed that. So anyway, here's a tune. Here's what I think this is funky. So let me know. Let me know what you think. Here we go. American woman, stay away from me. American woman, mama, let me be. Don't come hanging around my door. I don't want to see your face no more. More important thing to do. Spend my life growing old with you now, woman. Stay away from me. American woman, yeah, mama, let me be. See how I'm getting away from the kick drum? It's funky to do contrapuntal rhythms with the kick drum. They don't always have to be together. Now check this out. This is an old Larry Graham lick. So something like that. That to me is funky. I like being able to do bass lines that are not just in lockstep with the kick drum. And there's a lot of really great, like some of the simplest bass lines. You know, you go back to Kool and the Gang stuff, Commodores, Confunction was great. I mean, Lakeside was awesome. I was a big fan. And a lot of times, kick drum is just right there, snare on 2 and 4, and the bass line is moving around it. That's funky. You don't want the kick drum to always be accenting all the parts of the bass track. It just does, having everything lined up together just is not funky to me and to a lot of other people. So hopefully, you know, the rest of you guitar players and drummers and keyboard players can, you know, take that to heart about letting there be some space and not always everyone hitting at the same time. Everybody uses some space in a different way, you know, for the tune. So that was something I wanted to talk about. And let me look at some comments here and see if anybody has any questions. What is happening here? Let's go to this. Oh, what's up? Kevin So, what's happening, man? Junichi, all right. All the way from Japan. Awesome. So somebody asked me a question. Funk is what makes the head start bopping. That's it for sure. If the head is bopping and moving, Ernie Gonzalez, you are so lame. I love it. Oh, fantastic. So, man, here is Ohio Players. You got that right. You know that right. Scott said, what effects are you using? Scott McMahon. I'm using this RC300 Boss looper, the 3-channel thing. And I just have their little chorus in there on some of those parts. But the bass part that I'm playing straight is this is just flat, dry. You know, it's just nothing. So yeah, there you go. Just dry. And how about when you, man, some of the weirdest thing, I was looking at some of these bass videos that people are saying, okay, this is how to play slap bass. And they have all these rules. Okay, well, don't, you know, make a fist and don't pivot this way and don't even use your index finger, use this finger, because this, I'm looking at them going, man, this is, I mean, that's like, that's like somebody saying, okay, this is a way to dunk a basketball. How many different ways are there to do that? I'm certain there are at least that many ways to slap bass. So I would say just a quick one for bass players, because I don't want to make it boring for everybody else. I want it to be about music. So anyway, for a slap bass, figure out how to make the sound that you like, and then do that. That's my suggestion, because it's different for everybody. You're a person can't necessarily do it the way I do it, or necessarily would want to, you know, and so it's just figure it out. If you like the sound that you know, if you like the sound, just do that. If you're experimenting where to hit the thing, but that's the thing, there's no rule. You just got to figure it out yourself. Experiment. Where's the sound come that you like? Whatever the sound is that you like, then that's what you go for. You know, everybody's different. These are the 10 effects right here. You know, they do everything. So anyway, that's the short bit about bass playing. But what is funky? How about another example? You know, the thing about how about head bobbing? How about if I can get people's heads bobbing with a bass line with no accompaniment at all, and something simple with space, and I'll try to set up the bass line so that it implies the rhythm is still going even when I stop playing in spots, because rhythm is something that's rhythm is truly universal. It's a human thing. Everybody there's rhythm in everything. And people respond to rhythm, and people have rhythm. And so I'll play a bass line and you'll still feel the beat, hopefully, even when I stop playing, even in the gaps. That's the goal. So, and that would be a funky ass bass line. If I can get people's heads bobbing like this, just the bass, nothing else, nothing fancy. How about like a Michael Henderson kind of a thing? How about I'll start like this. You hear that snare? And so hopefully I got some heads bobbing, and that's the beauty of it. You set up a pattern, so, and it comes around enough to where people remember that it's in their head. Then you can take some liberties, do some other things. You come back to the pattern again, then everybody's still in sync with you, you know? And so to me, that's funky. You know, what's not funky is, I don't know what guys are doing now. And they're like, this pickety, 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 pickety. I'm looking on YouTube and I go, I don't understand. Maybe people have just passed me by and I'm old fashioned or something, but it just sounds like a bunch of notes, meaningless things, and I don't quite get it. But anyway, how about something funky like this? Yeah. You know, it's I could keep going on and on. I was like, so that's funky to me. I love that. What's not funky? It drives me crazy. I gotta stop looking at YouTube. Okay, so you know what I did? Here's a tune. So in my solo show, and I'm kind of advertising that because I'm doing my solo shows. So why not? You know, still doing the Kenny G stuff, but the solo show. So I worked up a song today because I was kind of bummed out from watching this stuff. And I'm like, man, you know, music, it makes me feel really good. And I think it is really funky, not in the way that most people might think, but I love bossa nova. I love bossa nova music. So I did a little bossa nova version, and I'm going to play it. And forgive me because I am going to make mistakes because I don't have the words memorized or even the arrangement. So I'm going to do it anyway. That's the great thing about Facebook Live is that, man, it's out there. So warts and all, it's here it is. It's coming. And I think by the time, well, you'll know it by the chorus. This takes me back to my Arsenio Hall days here. Oh, just for first, Nathan, is it Bellin? I'm sorry about that. Playing Roscoe 5-string bass. Do you have an issue changing scale length? No, not really. It doesn't seem to bother me. Cause I have, you know, this is 32-inch on the A, D, and G. The D string, the low D, is a 36. The Roscoes I have. I've got 35s, and they made me a 34, which I really like. I prefer 34-inch scale anyway. I've got a cylinder that was like 35 and 5/8 or something, and that was a problem because that was too big. I've got good sized hands, but that was the spacing was too much, you know, to try to do like chording things down low. So yeah, scale length, I don't know, it never seemed to bother me. But here we go, Arsenio, here we come. This will take you back. I love this. Okay. So, for better for worse, and I put on fresh strings. The MC Ironworks. Mike Connolly made some great strings. We've got these MC Ironworks strings on here, and I really like them. They're a heavier tension than the D'Addarios I've been using, but not fatter. But it's a heavier tension, which I like. Because I tend to play fairly hard, and when I want to, and I like to be able to play harder and have it keep getting louder, as opposed to light strings and or low action. You start buzzing right away, you know, and so you have a limited dynamic range. It's like here, but I can still go here, but I can play it harder and it still get louder because I use a kind of medium high action. Well, you can see how far that. That D string is off of the fingerboard. It's a ways off there, fairly high. So anyway, here's my tune that I was telling you about, and there you go. Here it is. Oh, man. All right. in a dream. I don't know which way to go. If you are all that you seem, then baby, I'm moving way too slow. I've been fooled before, wouldn't like to get my love caught in the slamming door. How about some information? Straight up now, tell me, do you really want to love me forever? Or am I caught in a hit and run? Straight up now, tell me, is it gonna be you and me together? Or are you just having fun? Straight up now, tell me, are you really gonna love me forever? Or am I caught in a hit and run? Straight up now, tell me, is it gonna be you and me together? Or are you just having fun? How about a little fun groove with this? Little Paula Abdul. What do you think of that? That was fun. So I figured that tune out today, and it made me feel better because I really just love just sitting and just go. There's something about that, man. It's just that smooth sailing thing. I just love that. So anyway, take a look at some comments here before I sign off in a little bit. Let's see. Get down, Vail. Come on. Okay. All right, you wise guys. Speaking to me in Portuguese. I'm having a little problem with that. Oh, man. MC, what's happening, man? Oh, Suzanne, very cool. Adrian, Miranda, yeah, Vail, what kind of strings you use? These are these MC Ironworks. It's this Mike Connolly a string guru I've known for a long time. He was with Dean Markley for many years, and he's making his own strings. And man, I really like him a lot. I like it. The tension is really cool. It's got a I can dig into it more, and I think they still sound pretty bright and clear. I'm using the nickel plated one, so MC Ironworks, man, check that out. I mean, I've been using D'Addarios for a long time, and I've been endorsing them, so I'm cheating on them a little bit, and this is the perfect way to do it. It's really sneaky, right out in the open. Oops. Anyhow, so anyway, let me do another tune. Oh yeah, my lovely wife said, yeah, that's right. I did work with Paula Abdul. Was the reason I played that. I played her on her second album, after the big one, and then Ron Powell and I were going to go on the road with her. She asked us to join the group, and we said, yeah, let's do it, because that was it was going to fit perfectly with in between these big Kenny G tours. And then all of a sudden her tour started to get a little later, and Kenny's tour started to get earlier, and then, as is the story of my life, the tours collided, and we weren't able to do Paula's thing. But I think that would have been a lot of fun. But yeah, I met her at Universal Amphitheater at a Kenny G show. It's amazing how many people used to go to that Universal. And then it was Gibson, and I don't even know if it's still there. But it was so much fun. That's where I met Arsenio, and he came and asked me to be a guest on his show, apart from Kenny. You know, and that was really fun. That's where I met Stevie Nicks, and we did. And so I'm doing a Stevie Nicks tune. Actually, it's a Fleetwood Mac tune, but in the show, I met Stevie Nicks. This is awesome. We're sitting there playing at Universal. The last tune, Kenny's out in the audience, and we're playing Tribeca. And we're playing this for like 15 minutes. And Kenny's out in the audience doing a thing, and sitting there grooving. And I hear this sort of jingling sound somewhere behind me. And I look at Ron, and he's playing congas. And I go, what the hell is going on? And I look behind me, and Stevie Nicks had walked on stage, taking one of Ron Powell's tambourines, and she's playing and twirling behind me. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. Great. All right. And it was just the strangest way to meet somebody. And then I can't remember if her producer, Rupert Hine, or probably somebody from a record company got a hold of me. And I did her record, The Other Side of the Mirror. Played on most of those tracks. That was fun. I came in after they had already done them. I came in and put my thing on it, and it was a lot of fun. But so that's my solo show. Is that I have it's music and musings from a 40-year career, and it's so not just playing with Kenny G. I mean, there's you know, Herbie Hancock I toured with, you know, it could be, you know, Stevie Nicks, James Ingram, Jeffrey Osborne, Patty Austin, you know, that sort of stuff. Did like Frank Gambale and Eric Marienthal, Carmine Appice, played in his band. There's, you know, it's tons of stuff. When Kenny's not working, I was doing my own stuff. You know, Gil Scott Heron played on a tour with him. So it's been a long career, and I just didn't want it to all just stay inside my head and then eventually just disappear. So that's why I'm trying to share it with people, and it's really just about that. I just want to share the experiences have been really insane, and so that's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm doing this. You know, it's cool. I like doing it. It's fun. So a couple more comments. That's one of the tunes off of my Terminator record, my very first one. So take a look at a couple of comments, see if there's anything pressing that I should be answering. And let's see. Thank you for the Portuguese. I love it. Love it. So yeah, so my channel here, it's Vail Johnson, basically incorrect. If you, I guess, you do the thing that everybody does on the YouTube, you can go to that, subscribe to it, and then you'll get the notifications when I'm putting out new stuff. And I have tons and tons of videos from throughout the years from Arsenio and playing with George Duke at Montreux Jazz Festival back in '86 or whatever, and everything up till now, and playing with Kebmo, doing. I did 3 years on the road with him right after I moved to Nashville, and that was fantastic. I really loved that. It was a great experience, really cool. So I'll leave you with one little thing. Steve Jamboni, yes sir. There you go. Jeff Yarbrough, how long do you keep a set of strings on? When I'm playing, it used to be I'd have to change them after 3 solos, 3 shows, because I would, if I did it to a 4th show, I would almost guarantee I would break a string. But these days, man, I probably do. I don't play anywhere near as hard as I used to. I probably do 5 shows. Yeah, I'll do 5 shows. My cat is meowing Cornelius. He's meowing outside the door because he always wants to come in when I'm playing music, and he either wants to sit on the mixer or the console or in my lap while I'm playing. And I love that dude. So little Corny, he's actually banging on the door now. He's kind of big. I'm going to do another video, and Cornelius will be in it, because I'm going to do a video about his namesake, Cornelius Bumpus, sax player from back in the Steely Dan and Doobie Brothers era. So anyway, here we go. This is fun. Had a good time. Many comments, and yeah, man, to my Brazilian people. I mean, I love Joe Beam. How about if I just do a quick Joe Beam tune here? I just realized I'm running out of time. I'm going to do that one the next time. I'm supposed to only go till 8:30. But I'll leave you with the thought: what is funk? Man, you just, it's syncopation. Like I said earlier, the contrapuntal rhythms, where, especially with bass. But also, if you listen back to some James Brown tunes and any of those great 70s funk bands, and really pay attention to the arrangement. These guys, everybody's playing a specific part that fits with the other parts, but doesn't play over it. And so you've got these parts that fit in these grooves. And it's the greatest thing to have. You have the syncopation, but it's separate parts all coming together for the greater good. But it's really cool. You sit down and listen to some James Brown and pick out those parts, the things that the keyboard and the guitar are playing. They're sparse and very dynamic in a rhythmic way, but everything's super important. And even if it could be really simple, it's just every part is really important, because they're not getting covered up by a bunch of nonsense that somebody else is playing. That somebody, like I call it dog paddling. You see a keyboard player that's just going like this. It's like, come on, man, you're killing me over here. It's like, stop for a second and try something like, something like that. Stop for a second and then play some parts. It's the same for everybody, And the drummers, my pet peeve is drummers want to play every possible rhythmic note. They fill up all the 16ths and some of the 32nds, and there's no room for anybody else. It's just, there's been plenty of times when I've played some pickup gig, just sitting in for somebody and having some fun, trying to have some fun anyway. And everybody starts going so nuts. Drummers and keyboard players, I literally will just sometimes stop. I don't hear a spot for me to play a single note. To me, adding anything to that is making it worse. And so literally I'll stop. And there are times when the people that are doing all this crazy overplaying won't even notice. And how sad is that? Now I'm starting to get sad again, because people are not listening. You got to listen. Pay attention. Play your part. Everything will be much better. So thanks a lot for coming to my little Facebook thing. So it's Vail Johnson, Basically Incorrect. And that's my YouTube channel. And I hope that I will see all you guys again. I'll look through the comments afterwards. And in the next video, I'll take a few of those and see if I can't answer them for you guys. And that'll be great. Awesome. You know, I don't know. Man, I love this factor. Hibiki factor. I'll leave you with that funk for the night. Good night, everybody. Ending now.